Hello everyone, this is Andrew Perkins for Tuts Plus, and today we're going to continue learning about the Symfony 2 framework. In this video, we'll cover controllers. I think the easiest way to learn about Symfony 2 specific controllers is to start working with them, and then I'll explain things as we go along. So let's switch into our text editor and take a look at a default controller that comes with Symfony 2. So we're going to explore the welcome controller just for a general overview. Then we'll learn how to create our own controllers at the end. So under Source, Acme, Demo Bundle, Controller, let's open up welcomecontroller.php. Now this is actually called a controller class, which can hold a variety of controllers that may relate to one another. The actual controllers are the methods or actions themselves inside this class. We can have as many controllers in here as we need. So you can see a controller class is a PHP file which contains a class definition. At the top, this class is given a namespace, and it includes the parent controller class to use to create our controllers with. Now, a controller class is just a normal PHP class. Here it's named Welcome Controller with a capital W and a capital C. Your controllers must use this controller suffix at the end. Next, we just extend that parent controller class so that we gain some unique functionality for building web apps in our controller here. Now, inside our class, we can define our individual controllers or actions. This class has only one controller, which is the index action. This is just a basic public method which calls and returns a render method to display a Twig HTML template file in the browser. This is essentially what each and every one of your controllers will do, regardless of the other logic. They will all need to return some type of response back. So here we're returning a Twig template, and we'll be exploring Twig in the next video. Basically, this template file is just being used to render some HTML to the browser. But let's go back to actions. To denote this method as an action, you must suffix the action name with the word action using a capital A. So that's our controller class for our index action controller. This will render a Twig template file to the browser using its URI, which is defined in our routing file. Remember, we learned about routing in the last video of this series? We actually examined this controller's route then. So if you need a refresher on basic Symfony 2 routing, please take a look at that video. All right, so now that we know what controllers are and what they're made of, let me show you how Symfony 2 makes creating controllers really simple by using the console to generate the file for you, saving you a bit of time from having to create files manually and other tedious setup. Let's switch into our terminal or command line prompt and make sure that you're within your Symfony application. I'm within my Tuts Plus -Symfony app, and let's run the following command: php app/console generate :controller. Now, the cool thing about generating your controller is that we can also generate other files that are commonly needed at the same time, giving us a nice starting point. We begin by answering a few questions about our controller. First, its name, which will be the bundle name separated by a colon, and then the controller name itself. I'm going to name mine Acme Demo Bundle main. So that's the bundle name of Acme Demo Bundle, and then a colon, and then our controller name, which is going to be main in this case. Now we need to pick what kind of formatting we want to use for our routing file, and we're given several options, but I'm just going to stick to YAML as that's what I prefer. I'm then just going to hit enter to choose Twig as my templating format. You can pick whatever you'd like if you don't want to use Twig for some reason, but again, we'll learn all about Twig in the next video. For now, we're just going to generate the template file so that we have something to render and see in the browser. Now, the cool thing about this controller generator is you can also have it stub out a few controllers or actions for you at the same time that your controller class is created. So let's create an index action named index action. So we start with index and then the suffix action with a capital A. Additionally, our controller generate command will create both a proper route for this new index action and its viewer template. So just hit enter 3 times to confirm these choices and to give the OK to create all of these files. Sweet, that was quick, and we ended up with a brand new controller class, action, route, and template file all ready to be used. The cool part is that this generation doesn't intrude upon our coding. It simply stubs things out for us, and we're free to build the app however we like. Now let's make our controller do something. Since at the moment, it's just stubbed out with no implementation, and then afterwards we can test it out in the browser to see if it all works. So I'm going to switch back into my text editor. I'll close out the welcome controller, and let's open up that main controller.php file. This is the controller class that we just generated. So Symfony went ahead and created the skeleton for our class and our action. We don't have to worry about writing all of this standard code each time we need to create a new controller. Instead, we can just hop right into building our application's functionality. Now, since we don't know much about templating just yet, all we're going to do is render that template file that we generated along with this controller. We won't be modifying it. So to do that, we just need to call the render method. Inside our index action, we'll use this, and we'll call render. And now we need to pass into it the template that we'd like to render. There we go. To reference our template file, we use its bundle name, its controller name, and then the template file name itself, each of which is separated by a colon. And then we also need to make sure that we return this. So we'll add a return statement to the beginning of this. There we go. So now when we generated our files in the terminal, Symfony actually took care of the routing for us. So we don't even have to worry about that. If you remember from in the terminal where we generated that command, it said we can access our page at /index. So let's try it out. Make sure to start up your server. I'll save my file. Let's switch into the browser. We can visit localhost port 8000 /index. And excellent. Here's our page showing some default text written in Twig, letting us know which controller we're rendering this template file from. We can see that we're in our main index page, or the main index controller, which we created, and everything is linking up perfectly. So working with controllers in Symfony 2 is really fun. It's easy to create them and link them up to the other parts of the framework seamlessly. In the next video, we're going to move on to the Twig templating engine. So thanks for watching.